Maybe there was a problem on YouTube yesterday. Somebody told me YouTube wasn't working, and now it isn't. There it goes. Weird. Weird. Oh, that's a problem. Got the sound up on my kick stream. Alright. Hope everybody's having a stellar Friday. We've got the NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs going on now, so that's a lot of fun. If you watch the NBA, it's kind of unwatchable in my opinion. I'll be taking my talents to the NHL playoffs this weekend. Just watching though. If you thought I played hockey, you're out of your mind. I can barely ice skate. Let's see. I don't know, we should just hop into it. It's Friday. Everybody's got better stuff to be doing than watching the news. I don't know. Depends on the weather where you're at. Lots of crazy weather today. Cold and rainy here. Tornadoes elsewhere. So keep your eye out if you're impacted by severe weather today. It's supposed to be pretty bad today for the next little while. It seems like every single day there's been tornado after tornado. So make sure all y'all are staying safe. But yeah, let's hop right into it. Today is Friday, April 17th, 2026. This is episode number 91 of Addressing the Issues. So, last night, between midnight and 2 a.m., the House of Representatives decided that they wanted to actually work. Surprise, the House of Representatives wanted to go to work at 12 midnight. But they tried to jam through two different versions of FISA. Both did not limit the extensions of FISA, the power that they have, warrantless surveillance, that sort of stuff. So, both of these versions were blocked last night, or I guess early this morning. And 2 more weeks have been allotted to create a new version. Hopefully, they can rein in the security state, the rogue agencies, the same agencies that brought you the Russia hoax, and, just spied on millions of Americans in general without a warrant, just based on their political opinions, nothing more. We don't like your opinion. We're going to spy on you, because that is a natural course of action in today's political climate. A journalist was actually there for the release of Congress at like 2:30 this morning. Nick Sordor, his last name is so hard to pronounce. Make it easier for us. Nick Sordor, I don't know. Every time I say it, it sounds terrible. Sorry, Nick. But he asked Representative Boebert on her opinion on the on FISA, what was going on with the late night vote. But essentially, how she was briefed on it. She says they try to bring us in all these classified briefings and tell us how dangerous it is to have warrants to spy on American citizens. She then follows it up with the briefing that we're never going to get is, hi, our agency has been given too much power by Congress. We need you to take some of it back. Yeah, of course they would never say that, because this is about power. This is all about control. Control through fear. But that's what all these FISA, Patriot Act type bills are. It's about gaining power, having more power in the deep state than is allotted to even Congress, even presidential candidates, which is why it's so surprising that Trump says pass the clean extension of FISA 702, because it is terrible. But it's also funny that they say that they claim it's dangerous to have warrants to spy on American citizens. Like, of course it is, because nobody wants to be spied on, especially if you're not doing anything wrong. If somebody starts following you around and you've done nothing wrong, you start to get a little like, why are you doing this? Who's following me? A little schizophrenic. And then, I don't know, just bad things happen, I guess. The dangerous part is the bad things happening. The dangerous part is the power creep from these three-letter agencies, these rogue agencies, spying on Americans, following Americans around without a warrant. That's the dangerous part. And it's probably why people get a little, schizophrenic about it. When somebody's following you around and you broken no laws, you don't have a warrant, you normally think the worst. You think, why is this person following me around? And the basis is to spy on you without said warrant. Nick also asks, Representative Massey, he follows up Representative Boebert's statement with, today I went in the skiff and saw 2 top secret documents that showed us the program is getting worse, not better. So yeah, we just keep throwing money down the drain to programs that are getting worse, less effective, more intrusive, and we're supposed to continue to support these for what? I'm not exactly sure. It makes no sense, this whole extension of the FISA. They need to completely rework it. It's what they claim they're going to do over this 2-week extension, but I think we all know how 2-week extensions go in Congress at this point. If you don't recall, in February, they had a 2-week extension for DHS funding. DHS is still not funded. We pay taxes for services such as DHS, yet they are not funded currently. And that was in early February, this 2-week extension for them. But it's a pattern. You get the 2-week extension, nobody ever comes to an agreement at the end of the 2 weeks, and then a couple of months later, nothing's done. And I mean, I think this we'll get a quote-unquote clean extension of FISA 702. Just because nobody is willing to work on these things. I guess unless it's midnight on a Thursday until 2:30 in the morning, maybe that's the time Congress best works. Well, obviously not, because they didn't get anything done last night, thank goodness. But it's like you get a 2-week extension, and then it gets put on the back burner, and then you never pass anything. You never get it done right, and if it gets done, it's done lazily, and whoever did it, 8 years ago is what's used in the current political scape, which is completely silly. A lot of things change, especially when you find out that these people are just spying on American citizens for political opinions. You start to think, maybe this might be a little bit of government overreach. A little bit's kind. But yeah, they tried to jam through 2 different versions of FISA last night while Americans were sleeping. Hopefully they'd never realized that the ability to continue to spy on them was extended if they were asleep when it passed. But it didn't, so we're looking at a 2-week extension right now. After that, do you really think they're going to make any substantial changes like requiring a warrant. Do you believe that? I don't. But another point of how effective Congress is right now is Republicans are actually starting to mount pressure on Senate Majority Leader John Thune to pass the voter ID bill, the SAVE Act, or something of the sorts. In an interview, Representative Anna Paulina Luna was claiming that John Thune is the one who will not bring the voter ID bill to the floor, claiming that he's weak. He won't use either a standing filibuster or just removing the filibuster entirely, which we all know will be removed at the end of this Congress. We'll go into the next likely Democrat majority House, Democratic majority Senate next session, and the filibuster will be gone, and all the Republicans will be questioning, why didn't we do that? We could have just done that. It's like, yes, you could have, but you would rather have this, silly vote instead of actually trying to get anything done. The Democrats will get stuff done, and it's going to punish Americans for sure, but I guess Republicans are punishing themselves, punishing America in turn by getting nothing done during this time. So it's really easy on how you fix this, and it's called getting rid of the filibuster, which will be done, but to please the Democrats now, they're going to hurt themselves, and then when they want to be pleased by the Democrats will say no. And that's just how it always works. It's just life these days. But that's what's going on with Congress and the House. When they're not sitting around doing nothing, they decide to go to work while Americans are asleep, hoping that nobody notices the government creep they're allowing time and time again. But we'll move on. We have got possibly the most interesting situation in geopolitics of anyone's lifetime right now, with the Iran peace deal, ceasefire, whatever it is. I'm likening the Middle East to the quantum physics of geopolitics. We will call it quantum geopolitics. It's like, it's crazy. Nobody knows whether the Strait of Hormuz is open, closed. Nobody knows if these ceasefires mean anything or not right now. I'll give you today's recap of what's been going on Truth Social, because it's always interesting. Let's see. Where does it start? It starts here. 7 hours ago, Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for full passage. Then it says the Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for business and full passage, but the naval blockade will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran only. Until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete, this process should go very quickly, and that most of the points are already negotiated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Then, once again, all these are 7 hours ago. He was typing away, I guess. The USA will get all nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. Created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the USA will separately work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. 6 hours ago, Now that the Strait of Hormuz situation is over, I received a call from NATO asking if we would need some help. I told them to stay away unless they just want to load up their ships with oil. They were useless when needed. A paper tiger. Continuing on, thank you to Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar for your great bravery and help. Iran, with the help of USA, has removed or is removing all sea mines. Thank you. Which I thought they'd never mind the Strait of Hormuz anyway, but you know, it is this quantum geopolitics we're dealing with. And then it says, again, the deal is not tied in any way to Lebanon, but we will make Lebanon great again. Kind of worrying. Thank you to Pakistan and its great Prime Minister and Field Marshal, two fantastic people. A great and brilliant day for the world. And then he starts posting about random news stories, of course, because he didn't have enough in those 2 hours where he posted all of that. But then you look at the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel, which is allegedly underway. Apparently it started at 5 yesterday, although all day today I've seen explosions in Lebanon. There have been drone strikes, apparently armored personnel carriers filled with explosive used to blow up buildings in Lebanon. So, is the ceasefire in effect? Yes. Is anybody honoring it? Of course not. Well, at least Israel isn't. There's no signs that Lebanon or Hezbollah have attacked Israel, but there's all the footage in the world of bombings going on in Lebanon, meaning somebody is not holding this ceasefire, and I guess I'm not sure who. It's being reported that Israeli officials have been caught off guard that Israel is prohibited from bombing Lebanon. Just absolutely crazy stuff. And then the Strait of Hormuz is back open, yet Iran denies this. They said that the American statements on social media differ from reality. As of right now, this truce is expected to expire. This ceasefire is expected to expire on April 22nd. Tehran says that there will be no more temporary pauses. They want concessions, they want sanctions relief, and a recognition of Iran's nuclear rights still, and an end to the U.S. blockade. That's what peace would mean. That's how we would get peace with Iran. The U.S. says that they will have no nuclear materials and that we will not be paying them. I think we can see how this is going. We're way too far apart still. Nobody's budging. Everybody thinks they're in the driver's seat here. I guess everybody can be. This is quantum geopolitics. Everybody is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's like Schrodinger's cat. It's like, but more confusing. It's like, is the strait open or is the strait closed? Or is it open and closed at the same time? Is there a ceasefire in Israel? Is there a ceasefire in Lebanon? Or are they still at war? Nobody knows. It's like everybody's getting two different copies of the peace plan. It's like, yeah, the U.S., you get all of what you want. Iran, you get all of what you want. Israel, you get all of what you want. Lebanon, you get all of what you want. But nobody on the other side agrees to it. What you have, but you agree to what you have. And it's like, who is Pakistan? What are you guys doing with these negotiations? But no, it feels like Schrodinger's cat. It's alive and dead, but then when you lift up the box, it's a dog. And you're like, what? I thought it was supposed to be a cat that's alive or dead, and now we have a dog. I mean, that's what this feels like. It doesn't feel real. Like, who is mediating this? Pakistan? Guys, this is absurd because nobody is on the same page here. Everybody is way too far apart, yet apparently they are very close to an agreement. But yeah, we're not bombing Lebanon anymore, but everybody who has access to the internet is watching Lebanon be blown up today. The Strait of Hormuz is open, yet absolutely zero ships have gone through today. I'm looking at a whole bunch that are parked outside of it. There's some heading towards it, but nobody's gone through. Everybody that is going through has their transponders off, so that's the status of that. Is the Strait of Hormuz open? We have no actual idea. Is there a ceasefire in Lebanon? We have no actual idea. It's also been claimed Iranian spokesman Ismail Baquet said that the opening and closing of the Strait of Hormuz does not happen in cyberspace. Iran is the one who determines this. At the same time, Trump is telling CBS News that Iran has agreed to everything, that they will permanently stop enriching uranium, that they'll completely stop funding terrorist proxy groups. I mean, what is going on? Do we know? No. I don't think anybody has any clue right now. Not even the Prime Minister of Iran, President Trump, I guess Lebanon, Israel. Nobody has any idea. Nobody has any idea. This situation is more complicated than Schrodinger's cat. But we'll move on. There's some other interesting news regarding the Middle East. So it's been claimed that Iranian hackers have been able to hack Mossad, gaining access to their databases, laboratories, and blueprints of Israeli weapons. I guess if they didn't have a blueprint for a nuclear bomb yet, they do now. But that's something that's going down with this. They've been posting pictures of Mossad agents, their credentials and such. That's probably not going to be taken too kindly by Israel, believe it or not. But it's claimed that some Iran-affiliated hacker group has hacked into it, and they have access to all of these now. Laboratories as well. I mean, that's not what you want to see. Truly. The terrorist nation hacks your allies, your greatest allies. I don't know. Gets the blueprints of their nuclear weapons and access to their nuclear facilities. Kind of alarming. But then there's more news related to this in the realm of futures trading. It's like every single time something like this happens, the Strait of Hormuz is declared open. What was the last one? That the ceasefire was signed, that Maduro would be captured. Somebody, somewhere, bets millions of dollars that it's going to happen just minutes before. So today, 20 minutes before this announcement that the Strait of Hormuz would be opening, an investor placed a $760 million bet that oil prices would drop. They did this by selling 7,990 lots of crude oil futures. They're not even hiding it anymore. Somebody is doing this. They're not getting lucky. You don't just get lucky with a hundreds of $1 million bet on geopolitical things and then 20 minutes later, President Trump puts out a Truth Social post. Like, you don't just get that lucky. And you're not that dumb with your money if you have hundreds of millions of dollars to throw around like this. So who is it? Somebody needs to get to the bottom of this. It's said that this is being investigated. It can't be that hard to find out. You have all the will of the U.S. government, all the might of these agencies. I guess you don't have any of the will of the U.S. government, but all the might of these agencies to get to the bottom of this, see who is profiting off of insider knowledge on these wars. All this ability, nothing's ever done. It doesn't sit well with me. You know, we get mad at Congress for insider trading, but at least they're not doing it with hundreds of millions of dollars and, like, rubbing it in our faces. I mean, you'd think they'd be wiser and, you know, maybe a little bit less this time. Maybe I'll just skip out on one major event and go for the next one. No. We've got to get rich quick. We've got to get rich off of war. I don't know. Somebody needs to be arrested for this, because this is entirely wrong, entirely unfair to the people who actually do trade stocks, people that do gamble on prediction markets. It's not fair to them because they're doing it honestly. This person has insider information. Somebody does. You don't just throw that money away and say, oh, I think this may happen. You probably know if you're willing to put $760 million on it. You probably know something. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but it's a little fishy at this point. The arrest of Maduro, then the ceasefire being signed. 10 minutes before the ceasefire signed, another $100 million something bet. And then now that the Strait of Hormuz is open, it's $760 million. I mean, what's next? Like $1.2 billion that, like, Lebanon is annexed by Israel. And it's like, oh, 10 minutes later, we have decided that Lebanon would be best served under the Israel government. It's like, oh, wow. Who did that? Was it the same guy that did the last three? I don't know. Speaking of gambling, let's move on to Vegas, the degeneracy capital of the world, possibly. There might be somewhere worse. But there was no tax on tips rally in Vegas. This was the day after tax day. I guess everybody was celebrating their 11% increase in tax returns. This was a big selling point for President Trump during the election, was no tax on tips, alongside a lot of others that he did not fulfill. No new wars. Namely that one, but there are a few others. I'm blanking right now. Oh, mass deportations. That one that Congress is actively working against right now. But they had the no tax on tips rally in Las Vegas. So, who do you interview? Well, CNN does the only rational thing and decides that they're going to go out and interview cocktail waitresses and bottle girls for the new no tax on tips rally. I'm sure that the bottle girls and cocktail waitresses in Vegas deeply benefited from this no tax on tips policy, whether they vote Democrat or Republican. They are probably handsomely more wealthy than they were after tax day last year. But I thought it was funny, the only rational thing to do in Vegas when you're at the no tax on tips rally is to go out and interview scantily clad cocktail waitresses and bottle girls. That's the course of events there. And they seemed like they were really happy. the White House's rapid response, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, reposted the video. They're very proud of this. It is a win, but just of course, you go to Vegas and you start interviewing the bottle girls, cocktail waitresses. I bet they are loaded after a year of no tax on tips, though. I bet they are loaded these days. It's a lucrative career. But, yeah. I thought that was funny. Let me see, is there anything else that I've missed? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Not sorry, actually. This is good news. In an announcement today, Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., claimed that Gatorade would be removing artificial food dyes and coloring in all of its products, starting with the drink itself, later transitioning to the powdered products. I believe that'll be next spring. But they'll be switching from plant-based dyes to plant-based dyes from food and food dyes, I guess I should say, artificial dyes. So that's good. Everybody was talking about how Red 40 and the sort give you cancer. Whether they do or don't, I'm not the one to make that judgment. I believe everybody has reasonable suspicion that those things are not healthy for you. So I think this is a good jump by Gatorade. One of the first if not the first in the sports drink market to do so. You're sold these as being healthy. You'd at least hope that they are. It's like, oh, you drink this when you work out, it's healthy for you. If it's giving you cancer, it probably isn't, but we're making small strides here, but I think it will put pressure on others to do the same, especially when they find out that it is a profitable idea. I think lots more people are going to be willing to go out and buy Gatorade now that they know that the additive junk is out and it's more natural, at least. There's plenty of additives, but a little bit more natural isn't the worst idea for them. That's basically most all of everything we have for today. There's also the Charlie Kirk case that's been going down today. They've been having interesting back and forth between the defense and three-letter agencies, the judge. They keep wanting to push the case back because they're not getting all of the stuff that they've requested. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I'm not on the jury, so guess if I was on the jury, I wouldn't even be here right now. I'd be in court probably. Yeah, there's Paula White Kane again doing crazy stuff. I don't know. Is any of this we're talking about? Gavin Newsom, his political action committee bought 2/3 of his memoirs print sales. I guess if nobody buys your book, you make your campaign contributors buy it for you. I don't know. The world's gone mad. The world has gone mad. Let's take one last look here. Let's see if there's anything. Oh, there's also Elon Musk today calling for universal basic income, which I was like, dude, this is a fall from grace for you. But, he can have his own opinions. That is what the beauty of this country is. Actually, apparently oil prices have gone down 13% today. Oh, yeah. Everybody's talking that the next move is Cuba after this Iran thing. I think I've talked about that before. Is it a good idea? Probably not. Are we going to do it anyway? Probably. But yeah, we'll wrap it up here. It's a Friday. Everybody's got better things to be doing. So make sure you guys are dropping a like on whatever platform you're watching on, liking on YouTube, liking on Rumble, subscribing on YouTube, following on Kick or Rumble, and share the channel. Really helps me out a lot. It helps me get this to new audiences. Gets more people in here. Most importantly is the viewership. It promotes me through the algorithm, so I really appreciate you guys sticking around today, hanging out. But we'll get into the good news section of today's broadcast, podcast, whatever you want to call it. And I figured we would go to Deuteronomy chapter 5. The 10 Commandments. So we're going to go through these, and then I'll give you a little bit of commentary at the end. But starting with chapter 5, verse 1. Moses summoned all Israel and said, "Hear, O Israel, the decrees and laws I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Horeb. It was not with our fathers that the Lord made this covenant, but with us, with all of us who are alive here today. The Lord spoke to you face to face out of the fire on the mountain. At that time I stood between the Lord and you to declare you the word of the Lord, because you were afraid of the fire and did not go up to the mountain." And he said, "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven above or on earth beneath or in the waters below. You shall not bow to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you nor your son or daughter, nor your manservant or maidservant, nor your ox, your donkey, or any of your animals, nor the alien within the gates, so that your manservant and maidservant may rest as you do. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out of there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord your God has commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live long and that it may go well with you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not commit murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not set your desire on your neighbor's house or land, his manservant or maidservant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. These are the commandments the Lord proclaimed in a loud voice to your whole assembly there on the mountain from out of the fire, the cloud and deep darkness, and he added nothing more. Then he wrote them on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me." You know, I was thinking, oh, we went crazy dark again. I don't like how that happens. Can we fix this? Hold on. Lighting reset. Well, close enough. I guess it is 5:30 now when the sun gets into the window. I was thinking, how great would it be if everybody just followed those? What would life on Earth be like if we could all just agree to those 10 things? It would be like, I'm sure you've seen those montages of like movies where people are like living their best life. Everybody's happy. It looks like I mean, it looks just euphoric. It looks like everybody's has a great life. If we could just all follow those 10 commandments, it'd be just like that. We wouldn't worry as much. We'd all have better lives. We wouldn't have to think about this thing or the other thing. We could just live and be happy. I mean, and it's not even a hard list of things. I mean, I don't know where everybody else lies with that, but it's really simple to follow. It's not complicated. It doesn't intrude on your life at all. I guess unless you want to work Sundays. I try not to. I try to honor that. But like, what else more do you need? It would be just so great. It's not intrusive. It just sets parameters on a lot of things that we could truly benefit from. Like not killing each other and sleeping with each other's wives. Like just basic things, basic human respect things. Treating your parents with respect. I mean, it's really simple. And our lives all would be so much better. Everybody would benefit from it. From the oldest man to the youngest child to teenage girls. I mean, anybody whatsoever. I mean, people in relationships, people not in relationships. Just a simple list of things you can do that would improve everybody on this earth's life, yet we can't even come to that one agreement. I mean, we are damned to this earth because that is about the easiest 10-point list to follow I think anybody's ever given me. And it'd just make everything so much better, yet some people are just unwilling to do it. They think of themselves as smarter than God, more powerful, I guess, in the same sense. Isn't that number one that I went through? But yeah, so much better lives we could live if we'd just all listen to not just the 10 Commandments, but the Bible in general. Everything would just work better. It'd be so much more beautiful. And yet, we're too self-consumed to even consider it. What a sad commentary on life on this earth, the human condition. I don't know. Do with that as you will. Here's your daily reminder, or Friday reminder. Church on Sunday. I might not see you at mine, but I hope you all will go to yours. Take the day off on Sunday. Honor the Sabbath. I mean, it's really easy. It's really, really easy. And it would make everything on this earth so much better. But that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed. Like I said earlier, make sure you're dropping a like, sharing, subscribing, following. I should be back on Monday, 4:45, hopefully. Never am on time these days, but I don't know. I never have a normal day, it seems. It's always something. Had my meeting this morning, went very, very well. I don't know how much it will affect you guys, but huge impact for me. A lot of things that I need to do moving forward, basically starting tomorrow. So that's cool. But actually, downwind, I think it will have more effect. So yeah, meeting went well today, if anybody was concerned. I've been talking about that a lot. But yeah, a lot less stress after it, actually, because I was confused, but Got a lot of clarification. Got a starting point to go forward. So, awesome. Awesome stuff. I'll see you guys on Monday. Don't expect anything too much different, but maybe down the road, things will be a little bit better. I'll get some help around here, hopefully. And that's all we have for today. So, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And yeah, just have some fun. Enjoy your weekend. Go to church on Sunday. That's all I've got. Talk to you guys very, very soon.